Good morning, afternoon, evening, or night. Today, we're revisiting the best Omnitrix in Minecraft via the Gravestone HeroTime mod from 1.20.1. They just had their biggest update yet, which adds skill trees and 4 new aliens. Not to mention the 2 new structures, a new villager type, and even a boss fight. However, I'll be covering survival impacted elements exclusively. So maybe you'll be inclined to download the mod yourself and explore hidden features not in this video. With all that said, it's hero time. Starting with changes from the last video, the plumber beacon recipe has been made easier to obtain. A new item, Vial of Skulk, replaces where you would put an echo shard. Now, of course, the Vial of Skulk itself has a new crafting recipe attached to it. But it's a whole lot easier than finding an ancient city now. Another change from the last video is that self-destruct mode was removed for the time being, as the main dev wants to polish it up and make it better. Finally, new preset slots were added for quick change. There are only 2 though. Using the command /graveqc, followed by which slot you want to use, and the alien, you can switch to that alien in a matter of seconds. It's important to note that if you have Master Control enabled, you'll be able to use your first slot without transforming, so be sure to select an alien that's versatile in whatever you're doing. That's about all for the changes from last video. Now we can get into all the new stuff I haven't gone over yet. Let's get started on the new structure added in this update. The Signal Receiver Tower is one you'll want to be on the lookout for, as it has a signal receiver inside, which is needed for the Plumber Scientist Villager job. I do want to give a warning about a bug regarding the signal receiver though. As of the current public release, being the version released on Christmas of 25, the signal receiver cannot be dropped when broken. Due to this bug, I advise you bring a villager to the structure until the next update, which has been confirmed to fix this bug. On top of the loot, the structure itself is made of an immense amount of quartz, so with this structure added, there's no need to progress to the Nether to obtain the Omnitrix. The next structure added is the Skulk Lab, which spawns randomly under certain ocean biomes. Inside, you can find a few chests sparse of resources needed to craft a Vial of Skulk. While it isn't required to find the structure, it does speed up fixing the plumber beacon. That's all for the structures added in this update. Let's move on to the boss fight new to this version. Without any delay, the new boss fight is none other than Zs'Skayr. Now, his spawning conditions are pretty interesting. Using your Ectonurite transformation a handful of times, and being level 6 or above, it becomes possible for Zs'Skayr to escape. After that, it becomes a higher chance with each transformation until eventually he pops out and removes Ectonurite from your playlist. The boss fight isn't terribly hard, but I do recommend having armor available, since your Omnitrix will be on cooldown for the start. Once defeated, Zs'Skayr drops a new weapon under the name of Eerie Scythe. Dealing 9 base damage and an impressive 1.6 attack speed would cause anyone to swiftly add this weapon to their arsenal. However, there's a few things you should know before using it. Firstly, you need netherite to repair any damage to the weapon. Second, in order to obtain the blueprint for upgrade chip 1.10.2, you need an Eerie Scythe at full durability. Otherwise, the trade won't work. Don't worry about having one scythe. You can fight Zs'Skayr again after you unlock Ectonurite again through random codes. I do want to warn you that the chance for him to escape only gets higher every time you fight him. So maybe craft that upgrade chip as soon as possible, only if you don't want to worry about it though. With that said, we can finally go over all of the aliens in Hero Time. The new aliens added to this update are the Methanosian, Ectonurite, Sonorosian, and Aerophibian. However, for the sake of having order, I'll be going over the aliens how they're listed on the wiki page. Feel free to skip to any alien's timestamp if you're looking for a specific one. Also, I'd like to ask, maybe drop a like, subscribe, and maybe leave a comment if you're enjoying the video. I spent an immense amount of time compiling all of this information, and I'd like to hear your feedback on how it's organized. Let's get it started with the first alien in the franchise, Pyronite. I'd say he excels at combat, but is mediocre for mobility. Having a versatile range of abilities definitely helps not only control the battlefield, but thrive in it. Using geokinetic flight and flame fists being active, you can start flying. Not to mention the passive fire resistance making nether exploration an ease. Overall, one of the greats in HeroTime. Genuinely a sleeper pick for combat and mobility. Echolocation lets you see entities through blocks with the drawback of skewed vision. Although, you're wider than one block now, so I hope you don't plan on strip mining. But hey, if you have a friend, you can give them a ride. Other than that, I'd say Vulpimancer is underrated and not used enough for how good it is. Crystallizing onto the scene, we have Petrosapien. Incredibly tanky and immune to projectiles. Combat being his main priority means you'll be spending a lot of time as this guy during raids or bosses. Creating barricades and walls throughout the field gives an edge opponents simply can't keep up with. Mobility though is kind of rough. He has a pseudo flight that creates a path, but it's rather slow and blocks can't be broken manually, so his mobility is kind of buns. Not really a util alien either. However, he still excels at what he's built for. Kineceleran is the best land mobility alien as of now. Simply no other alien outpaces him on foot. Combat is another situation though. I personally feel Kineceleran's damage output just isn't good enough to keep up with the goats, and that's fine, because he's mostly a mobility alien at the end of the day. At higher speeds, it gets hard to keep track of the enemy you're fighting. Not really too much to say about this guy. He's the mobility alien. The Tetramand transformation is absolutely one of the best aliens to unlock as soon as possible. Not only is the combat usage off the charts, but mobility and utility aren't too far behind. Personally, I like using Tetramand to transport villagers due to the ability to pick up entities. On top of that, there's nothing stopping you from using a weapon while transformed, meaning you can get some crazy DPS with high damage weapons. Overall, an amazing choice and absolutely a top 10. Don't even ask me to pronounce this alien's name. This guy is Stinkfly to me. In PvP, it's extremely annoying to fight Stinkfly since the players are given nausea effects in close proximity. But if PvP isn't your thing, you can actually ride Stinkfly for travel, making his mobility definitely up there. As for combat, I'd say he's a solid pick for how many ranged options he has. Solid choice for most situations. The water alien, Piscciss Volann. Until you get the breathing apparatus, this guy isn't really usable for 90% of gameplay. Thankfully, he is dominant in his specializations. Water combat is a breeze for this guy. However, he's not the tankiest. Mobility is definitely his strong suit, so that'll be your reason for using him most of the time. Ectonurite is absolutely not a combat alien. While he has moves that deal damage, his HP and armor stats argue otherwise. Mobility is hit or miss, ground speeds are a slog, but the flight speeds are pretty good when in smoke form. As for utility, I have to mention this guy is the only way to obtain the Eerie Scythe. I really don't have much else to say for this guy. Some of his best moves are still being worked on, so hopefully I'll have more to say in a later update. Splixson is pretty interesting in mechanics. While you can run up and fight with your clones, I personally like to sit back and let my clones do my bidding. Outside of combat, I can't think of any applications for Splixson though. Almost no mobility and no utility that I can think of. Pretty average alien in my opinion. Another alien built for purely combat is Fulmini. Expect massive damage, but not for long. As of the current update, Fulmini hasn't been rebalanced yet, so the armor and toughness stats aren't the best. However, that doesn't stop you from overtaking your enemies with well-placed traps and forcing a thunderstorm on the field. Another great pick that's only going to get stronger as the updates come. Methanosian is the absolute GOAT of HeroTime. There is zero competition when it comes to his combat. As for the other side of things, his mobility is kinda buns. You can run, but there aren't any other options. As for utility, there's actually a game changer with this guy. One of his abilities is infinite bone meal. Yeah, genuinely the GOAT of HeroTime. Sonorosian can be quite useful for recon or trying to find a stronghold. I mainly say this because of the sonar ability highlighting entities within its range. Other than that, I don't see myself using this guy much. He's alright for combat, but his mobility is terrible. Truly a utility alien. Vaxasaurian, or Humongosaur, for those that like saying it, is an incredible alien for land travel and combat. With the ability to increase size, also lets you increase your step height, meaning you could just walk over a forest biome. No real utility applications though, which is fine, not his thing. Another great choice. Being known for flying across the galaxy at light speeds, we have Aerophibian. Although not that fast in-game, it's still the fastest flight in the mod. On top of having lasers, you can spin at high speeds to send mobs flying. Definitely a zoner type of combat, which is good if you need that. Overall, an alright pick. If you're familiar with my Minecraft series on HeroTime, then you'll know this was my first alien I unlocked, the Necrofriggian. While I was extremely happy to have him in my playlist, I hadn't realized he was another zoner alien. Although mobility is great with intangibility and flight. Plus, infinite weapons are nice too. Still a GOAT in HeroTime. I'll be the first one to admit, I don't use Biotsavartian too much. There just aren't any heavy-hitting moves, but luckily there's a ton of utility. From picking up magnetic blocks to flying villagers to your base, this guy is great for transportation. Also defense. Defense is good too. This guy is just good. The Citrakayah. I don't know why I said it like that. Honestly, the better choice for speedsters in combat. While not as fast as Accelerate, it's made up for in combat potential using neon energy. There's really not much I have to say for this guy. He's alright in what he does. I'd also like to say I spent like the past 2 weeks making these alien videos. It'd be so nice if you liked. Well, anyways, I hope you liked this video, as I've said it like 3 times now. I spent a lot of time. I started writing this on like the 4th of February, and I actually forgot to write an ending, an outro to the script, so I'm freeballing it right now. No script. Today's February 25th, so we'll see when this gets uploaded. Anyways, see ya.